prints, sculpture, animation, this narrative between consumerism, science fiction, and the critique upon these different subjects. These are some of the topics we would include or find when critics, the press, talk about Jonathan Monaghan. Thank you, Jonathan, for being with us today for another 4ART talk.
Thanks for having me, of course.
Thank you so much. Well, let's just start quickly. Briefly introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, so I'm a visual artist. I make animated films, sculptures, and prints. Exhibit my work in galleries and museums all over the world. And all of my work centers around the use of digital technology. I use digital technology to create all my work. And that includes digital fabrication technologies, as well as 3D modeling and animation software for my video installations.
Yes, Jonathan. So how do you get inspiration? Where do you get inspiration from?
So all of my work is motivated by our relationship with technology. I look at our relationship with technology. In order to do that, I look through the lens of history, specifically the Baroque architecture and other imagery from the Baroque era. I think the digital age is a very decadent era. And so I look towards the art and architecture from the past and take my own futuristic take on it and create new works from that.
Thank you very much. Of course, you already said, and it's true that you had shows, exhibitions in several places in all over the world. So can you mention maybe one, maybe the most recent one, or something that was really changing for you?
Yeah, so a little while ago, I created a series of works based off the Fabergé egg. The Fabergé egg is this very famous, iconic piece of jewelry, of course, and it's associated with wealth and power and very ostentatious decadence. And so I created a series of digitally rendered prints that take the Fabergé egg and reinterpret it for the digital age. So instead of diamonds and jewels, there's USB ports and loading cursors and other things from the modern era. And I actually got to exhibit these artworks alongside original Fabergé eggs at the Walters Art Museum in Baltimore. So it's just one of the many ways that I sort of have this dialogue with historical artworks. Another project that I'm working on right now is sculpting these futuristic takes on classical marble busts. These classical portraits in marble, and so taking that into another dimension. So my work always has this dialogue with historical artworks.
And how did you fall into the NFT world? How did it happen?
Well, so I've been creating work that is what you would call sort of born digital, meaning that the work only exists as digital files, that there's never any original film taken for it, or that there's not like an original painting or anything like that. It's just digital files. That's the artwork. And that's been my practice forever. And there's always been a bit of a need to have those digital files a little bit more unique and a little bit more collectible, because a digital file can be copied and pasted, it can be transferred, it could be changed very easily. And so when there are collectors and museums and other institutions looking at these digital artworks, they've always been a little uneasy about acquiring a work that's simply a digital file. And so it's been a struggle to gain that kind of necessary support as an artist. And so back in 2013, I was doing a residency in Berlin, and I met Masha and Trent Makani, and one evening over dinner, they introduced me to the concept of using a blockchain as a distributed ledger to secure digital artwork. This concept fascinated me because, again, I felt that art collectors and institutions were still a little wary about acquiring digitally native artworks. And this provided a more secure way to track the provenance and to authenticate these digital artworks. This is very experimental, because this was back in 2013. This was before Ethereum and before a lot of these other modern blockchains existed. And this was essentially, like, I guess what you would call proto NFT. And so it was pretty incredible to see this concept develop into what it is today. But back then we were really interested in its ability to help with securing digital artwork. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for us in 4ARTechnologies is how it started as well, basically from physical objects to create this provenance of them, and through the app have this possibility to also sell it and then send it, but it's all there, right? So of course it was
Yeah.
also natural for us to now offer it with the NFT world
Yeah,
practically.
it's even more powerful that way because you the works that we're producing for 4Art here is they're digitally fabricated. It's a 3D print, the work that I had in the exhibition. And so this has a similar issue where, if technically the file, somebody could get a hold of that file, reprint it, this and that. So it provides an extra layer of like authenticity and security for these works that have this, that are come from the digital space.
Yeah, and thank you, Jonathan. Just as you mentioned, and of course, a lot of people listening and watching this interview know you were part of our most recent exhibition, the Digital Baroque, part of the marketplace in 4Art. And may we ask you, at what price was your piece fetched from the marketplace?
I think it went for 2 ETH or so.
Nice, very good. And what's the plan then? Is it more NFT in your career coming so far? Are you planning more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, obviously with NFTs, we've seen a lot of hype and there's been a lot of attention. And so I think now what we're seeing is the projects and the concepts that are really strong, that have a strong basis. These are the ones that are going to stick around. Now's the time when we see what's going to stick around, what's going to start to fade out. And so it's really exciting to continue to work on projects that have a lot of staying power and continue to make artwork and reach new audiences and give collectors and other patrons of the arts more direct and more impactful ways to support artists. So this is what we're seeing now, and it's so yes, it's still very exciting. So I have many projects going on, doing drops, doing more sculptures connected with NFTs. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. And what do you think about how difficult it is, or the extra security that is needed? Do you think it needs to be simpler? What about the security with the actual situation, let's say, with the NFTs?
I mean, I think, everything's developing, right? This is still, I mean, I think back to in 2013, 2014, when I was working with Trent McConney on, this concept of what was essentially a proto NFT. There was a lot of experimentation going on. There was, we were trying to, just build whatever we can on top of these existing architectures and things like that. And so it's still very, early on in the technology, because that was with the Bitcoin blockchain. It was very difficult to build on top of that. It's a little bit easier to build on Ethereum. But the future is wide open. People are developing all kinds of exciting, new ways to work with the blockchain and work with NFTs and work with tokens. So so I think we're still there's a lot that we're going to see. And again, I think now that the hype is starting to come down a little bit, we're going to start to see the projects that have real, true value to them.
Can you tell us how was your experience working with us for this exhibition in 4ARTechnologies? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the app, it's very robust, it's very refined. It was incredible. It was so easy to and so really advanced and robust to take the physical artwork and just with my phone being able to create this digital connection between this physical object and my digital artworks and combine them as an NFT. Yeah, and it was really seamless. It was really polished. So it's been a great experience.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Would you like to add something for everyone following here? As you know, we have from artists to collectors to galleries, a lot of different fans and art lovers. So it's something that you would like to say to close this conversation.
Yeah, I think that anytime artists are involved in something, particularly in new technology, good things are going to happen. Artists traditionally have adopted new technologies and have shown the world what's possible with them. And so, when artists are taking over these NFTs and blockchain, and when artists are involved in this, I think we're going to see, a lot of really groundbreaking things happen. So, I'm excited for the future with that. So.
Thank you very much, Jonathan Monaghan, for being with us again. And we wish you a lot of success with everything that's coming in your career.
All right. Thank you so much.